So you found your way to this video because you need to know which spring goes in which brake arm on your BMX bike. Well, you're in luck today because I am here to explain exactly how you figure that out, even if your brake springs aren't color-coded the same way these Alienation Vice Grip brake springs are, because not all brakes come with color-coded springs, and if you get these mixed up, you can definitely turn them the wrong way and get your brakes to seem like they're working properly, but actually not be proper. So let's explain this in the easiest way I know how. When your brake spring is installed correctly, this spring should always be tightened in a way that tightens the coil on the spring. So you can see, for example, on this one, that this coil is wrapping clockwise. You can see it just by looking at the top of it, that is wrapping clockwise, and tightening it would be tightening it clockwise, just like this. So with this other spring, and this is why it gets confusing, is because it is reversed of the other one. These springs are wound opposite directions so that your brakes can pull away from the rim on either side of the bike. So this one is wound counterclockwise, as you're seeing here, and rotating it counterclockwise is what tightens it. When your brake spring is installed, you should always be turning the cap in the way that tightens the spring. And now why this matters is because you could definitely put either of these springs into either side and make your brakes spring the correct way, but it doesn't mean that it is correct or will last as long as it should, because you could definitely put this spring into this side, and that whenever you tighten the cap in a way that makes the brake spring away from the rim, meaning that it's just rotating the spring the opposite way that it's supposed to. And when you do that, you end up with a spring that looks kind of like this one, how it's just at an angle and weird. And that is because this brake spring has been installed before where the cap rotated the wrong way. And as you can imagine, rotating the wrong way pulls and uncoils that spring exactly like what you're seeing right here. So at this point, I've explained it pretty thoroughly, but now I want to actually show you guys how you do this in practice on your bike. And the easiest way to do that would just be to install your brake arms onto your bike, but without the springs. And to do that, you might have to situate it like this a little bit if yours are like mine and the bolt goes all the way through into the frame. But either way, get it to this point and then just grab one of your springs, put it onto the brake arm, then grab your cap, install it, and then for security and just being able to show this the best way possible, I'm gonna thread this bolt in a couple times so everything stays put. But what you're gonna do then is take a wrench, whatever size you need, onto this cap and turn the cap in the direction that tightens the spring. And as you can see here, this spring is tightening as we turn it this direction. And when we do that, the natural direction that the pad and the brake arm wants to go is pushing into the rim, as we're seeing right here. That means that this spring is on the wrong side. If your spring is coiling, and let's just go the other way to show what it's supposed to look like from the brake arm perspective and show you what it's not supposed to look like from the spring perspective. So if we turn it the other direction, which is very clearly unwinding this spring and expanding it, that's whenever it pulls the pad away from the rim the way that it's supposed to, so that when you pull those brakes, it hits the rim, and when you let go, it springs outward. So that is the illustration of how it's not supposed to look. Now we can take it back apart here, and that instantly would let you know that, okay, this one's on the wrong side. That means it goes on the other side, and the other spring that I have goes onto this side, because you only have two springs with your pad or with your brakes when you get them. So it's a process of elimination. But now with the correct spring in here, we can see that when we tighten the spring with the cap in the direction that actually tightens this spring and coils it down, which this brighter spring gives you a much better illustration of, it naturally pulls that pad away from the rim the way that it's supposed to. Now let's show this one going the wrong direction. So you can see here, it's just expanding, going against the direction of the spring, and is just not correct. And it pushes that pad into the rim so that if we were to pull our brakes, it doesn't do anything. So there it is in practice. This was a little more impromptu in my living room area instead of in the studio, but I see so many people with springs in their pads that look like, or in their brakes that look like this, that are just totally off and expanded and on the wrong side. I wanted to make this quick video explaining how you actually figure it out and showing you how you would do it on your bike. So hopefully this helps you get your brakes set up. And if you need any help with spring tension or cable setups or gyro setups or anything like that, there is a playlist right here on the screen with everything that you should need about brakes. And if you have any questions, hit me up, ask them. I'm happy to help. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for another video. Goodbye. Shout out to the Alienation Vice Grips. They are available. Get them.